Welcome to Top 5 with Joey Cassata. Starring Joey Cassata.
Team Jesus, my friend.
Am I walking around park?
Co-starring Ernie Palooza. Now here's your host, Joey Cassata.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Top 5. I'm your host, Joey Cassata.
And I'm James Van de Beek.
Wait a minute. Say that closer. Get over here.
James Van de Beek.
Listen, I love Dawson's Creek. I'm a big fan. So that actually leads us in. We have a great topic for you today. We're going to be talking about our favorite TV show theme songs. This is going to be a good one, Ern.
I hope so, because I've changed my list so many times. Every time I thought about it, I started crossing things off.
I got to tell you, all the episodes we've done so far, this one was the hardest for me, I think.
So much great stuff I had, and now it's a whole new list.
Every time I heard one, I would remember another one, and then it would trigger 10 more, and it's almost impossible to choose. So we're gonna have so many people yelling at us that they don't like our list. I'm sure we probably will have some duplicates, but let's go through our list. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on our list, of course, and put your list up after you watch the episode. But let's dive right in, Ern. Your number 5 favorite TV show theme song.
Thank you. My number 5 choice was the theme from Fraggle Rock.
Ooh, I didn't think that's one I forgot. That's a good one.
Oh, the guitar riff in particular.
Very nicely done. What years was Fraggle Rock, Ern?
I'm gonna guess 82. I discovered the show later. I didn't have it when it was on HBO and when I was 12.
Yeah, me too. I was the same way. I discovered that later too.
82, I think.
Great choice. I love that. You know what's funny too about all these lists? I didn't maybe I wouldn't even give it because I might give away some of my picks, but the dates of my shows surprised me a little bit. Did you find that? Did you have a big range of years, or you were kind of in one area? What'd you do?
I don't want to give that away yet.
Good point. All right. So great pick, number 5. Great pick. Great show, underrated show. It's a show you never really see on anywhere, right? I never see like reruns of that anywhere, right?
It was originally on HBO, and HBO keeps their stuff. They don't.
Yeah. You're probably right. Okay, so let's move. My number 5 pick again. These were so hard for me. I literally changed my whole list at least 4 or 5 times. So I'm gonna go with one of my favorite shows of all time, All in the Family.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
And you knew where you were then.
Girls were girls and men were men. Mister, we could use a man like Herbert over again.
I'm not surprised.
Just such a great theme song. Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton singing the song at the piano. Edith's voice is cringeworthy, but it makes it so great. I think I even read somewhere they filmed it every episode right in front of the studio audience.
I don't know. That would be
I don't know if that's what
though.
aired. Right. I don't know if that's what aired every week. Like I think they had the one that aired every week, but I think they performed it live in front of the studio audience every week before the taping.
It's a great choice. I did not have that on my list, but I had the spin-off show from that show on my list at one time.
I don't know if I know this. What's the Archie Bunker's Place theme?
Not that spin-off.
Oh, ooh. Oh, I know the one you mean. Okay, so All in the Family, again, one of my favorite shows of all time. It's just, to me, the way I went with my list, it's not necessarily the best songs, not necessarily my favorite shows. It's just when I hear these songs, number one, I immediately think of the show and I immediately start singing along to it. That's kind of how I went.
Interesting.
All right, Ern, you're number 4.
My number 4 choice, and this is going way back, the Monkees.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down.
Great choice, great show.
The they wanted to make a Beatles group, and the song is great. The theme song. And
I love the Monkees. I don't know what is the origin of the Monkees show. Is the show the origin of the Monkees, or did they put a band together first, or no? How did that work?
No, those none of them were musicians. They were actors first.
So it was the TV show first, and then obviously the songs and stuff for the TV show.
Well, the songs weren't written by them. The
Right, of
Monkees
course.
could have been
Right.
anybody.
Right. We could have been the Monkees.
Yes, we might have been in some situations.
Well, that's for another show. That might be a show when we have the doctor back on.
Sounds good.
Great choice. Again, one of those shows, love the music, love the Monkees music. I don't know the show that much. I saw it a couple times. It's not one of the shows that I know that well. What about you?
I used to watch the show a lot. It was on reruns on Channel 5. Same time period in the afternoons after school, a long time ago. It's funny. Another show just very similar that just missed the list was the Partridge Family theme song.
Down on my list. It didn't make my list either, but I have about 26 honorable mentions, and that's one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, what you just said too kind of triggered something for me. A lot of these shows that I'm picking are from me coming home after school, seeing them, or even like those reruns we used to see right before dinner time. And that leads me into my number 4 pick. This was always on, if I remember correctly, 6 p.m. every night. It was either 6 or 6:30. I think it was 6 p.m. every night. I would watch it right after dinner. And I knew it was on because I would hear the theme song, "Come and Knock on Our Door." And I went with Three's Company.
Come and knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you.
Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's Company too. Come and dance on our floor.
Come and dance on our floor.
Take a step that is new.
Take a step that is new.
We've a lovable space that needs your face. Three's Company too.
Uh-oh. But I had to go again. It's one of those. First of all, the theme song is incredible. The opening is great. When you hear that song, you immediately know what it is. Everyone knows what it is. At least our generation. I mean, these are very generational things too. I think all my picks are, from when I was growing up as a kid. They remind me of the shows, the reruns especially, because a lot of my shows are actually a lot older than I thought they were going to be. Like All in the Family was, 71 through 79. Three's Company I have written down was 77 through 84. So even when it ended, I'm only 10 years old. So I know most of these shows from reruns, like I said, in the afternoon and the evening.
Absolutely. It's funny to think of Three's Company being rerun at that time because it was raunchy for its time, for that period of time.
Right. And there's a line in it. I remember my wife always gets wrong. She's like, "Doma dama na do," or something. I forget what she sings, but I think it's
come and knock on my door.
No, but there's another one. it's like towards the end, like something with rendezvous. It's like it's on our rendezvous, something like that. So and people always think it's like a French saying or something where it's just rendezvous he's saying. So it's always a confusing lyric for people to sing along to. Anyway, that's my number 4. We're up to your number 3.
My number 3, which I think is very similar time period. Welcome Back, Cotter.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, they tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back.
The beginning of John Travolta.
On my 26 honorable mentions, they're one of them.
It's the singer is actually the guy from The Loving Spoonful, which I didn't know.
Oh, I did not know that either.
I think it's his only hit by himself. It's a great song.
I agree. Great
Yeah.
song. Now, did you love that show too, or did you just love the song?
What are we talking? I was 4 years old. I don't remember. I think
What
so.
about like the rerun? I mean, again, most of these shows that I picked too, most of them are reruns for me that I saw. Again, you got to understand, first of all, the thing I love about this podcast mostly is reminiscing. That's why I wanted to do these top 5 lists. Most of these lists that we're going to be doing are very, reminiscing lists. Even the intro, you could see the intro is very 80s and 70s. Like, that's what I really wanted to do this podcast to kind of think about childhood stuff and stuff we did growing up, and obviously talking to our friends and stuff that we have on. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. And all of the shows that I'm picking remind me of that. You got to remember, there was no cable TV when we were growing up. There was, we had 4 channels, and we had reruns, and all we saw was the same shows over and over again. So they're so ingrained in our brains.
What I was thinking about with that show, though, the stereotypes, where each character was like, each character from each ethnicity. It was like they figured, hey, we could get away with racism. We racist to everybody. I think was the thinking. If you ever watch it, it's
absolutely. Yeah. We need this type of guy. We need this type of guy. We need that type of guy. It's perfect.
It was obviously done on purpose. Yeah.
And even, going back to my number 5 with All in the Family, you could never get away with some of the stuff on those types of shows today. People don't find the humor in that type of comedy anymore.
Nope.
God
bless you.
Okay. So that was your number 3, right?
Yep.
Okay. My number 3, again, I have a feeling this is on your list too. And I almost left it off because I had a feeling it was going to be on your list, but I couldn't leave it off. It's too damn good. And that is The Greatest American Hero.
Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me.
I mean, I had to do it. Believe it or not, it's just one of those songs that as soon as you hear it, you have to sing. I remember watching that show religiously as a kid. If you remember when he first gets his costume, there's like an instruction thing that he loses. And then he finally realizes that he has to take 3 steps and jump to start flying. And I remember being in my driveway as a kid, 6, 7 years old, whatever it was, and running 3 steps and jumping as high as I could to try to take off, and it obviously never worked.
Have you watched that show recently?
I have the DVDs, but I don't know if I've watched it recently. Have you?
Yeah, I tried it with my daughter. In the first episode, it was so strange.
Why?
There's a lot less comedy than I remember. I remember it being funny, and I watch it. It's not that funny. Some serious stuff going on.
Yeah, I remember it being lighthearted. I don't never think of it as a comedy. I think of it along the lines of, it's obviously the Wonder Womans and the Hulk of that time and stuff like that. A little bit later, but with a little tiny sprinkle of comedy in it.
It's a great choice. It's
great. Just again, that's the other thing I tried to go with. Welcome Back, Kotter was on my list just song reason, but I didn't love the show and I don't remember the show that much growing up. I tried to go with not only songs that I love, but shows that I love too. And this is one of them.
Yep.
All right, Aaron. Number 2, baby.
Number 2, and very similar to what you said a moment ago, I have a feeling that this is on your list. Dukes of Hazzard.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will.
Ooh, no, it's on my list, but not on the top 5. Great choice.
It's a wonderful song.
I mean, great song, great show. Everything about it.
Eastbound and Down. I'm pretty sure is the name of it, which another show with that name came out. But
I mean, again, I'm not dissing any of the shows today. Obviously, there's been so many great shows in our lifetime, but like I mentioned earlier, because we only had a couple stations and a couple, there wasn't that much programming either. There was no Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and HBO and, Showtime. It wasn't all these networks to have produce shows. We only had a couple networks, so there was only a handful of shows to choose from. So all of these shows we saw so many times as kids. I think that's why everything about the 70s and the 80s, I feel, the pop culture, and that's really what we explore mostly on the show, is so ingrained in all of the kids from those years because there wasn't that much to choose from. So when you like something, you were engrossed in it for years and years to come.
Friday nights, 9:00, Channel 2.
Love it. Yes, Channel 2, yes. And Channel 2 was always, like, for me, the channel that I didn't watch that much. Yes, yeah, Dallas. I think Dallas was on Channel 2, right? We had Knots Landing. Remember that?
I never watched any of those shows.
I didn't watch Dallas. I was a Knots Landing fan. My grandmother loved Knots Landing. We used to watch it all the time.
I never saw it.
All right, so my number 2, gotta go with this classic. I mean, it doesn't get any more classic than this. It was almost my number 1. I went with a little bit more of an obscure for number 1, but I had to go with this for number 2, The Brady Bunch.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curls.
It's the story of a man named Brady who was busy with 3 boys of his own. They were 4 men living all together, yet they were all alone. Till the one day when the lady met this fellow, and they knew that it was much more than a hunch, that this group must somehow form a family. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch. That's the way we became the Brady Bunch.
I mean, it's just what a great song. Not only a great theme song, but the songs in the show. You remember the name of the Bradys in the show? What was their band name?
I don't remember.
I think there was a couple different ones. I know the Brady Six was one, but I think the Silver Platters was that first one, right?
That sounds right.
I think they formed the band to try to replace the silver platter or something that they broke. I forget what it was exactly, but that's how they started the music, and it took off. And me and you love the Brady soundtrack.
The two songs from the show that are not the theme song are incredible songs. That Time to Change and
Sunshine Day. Oh, so
Those are
when
great,
it's
great
time
songs.
to change.
I think I'll go for a walk outside now. The summer sun's calling my name. I hear you now, I just can't stay inside all day. I gotta get out, give me some of those rays. Everybody's smiling, sunshine day. Everybody's laughing, sunshine day.
Oh,
and Keep On Moving.
Oh my God. And they're doing the dancing, right?
Gonna keep on, keep on, keep on moving. Gonna keep on, keep on, keep on grooving. Keep on singing and dancing all through the night.
Those songs are great, but I don't know how I feel about the theme song. The theme song doesn't match up to those songs to me.
Oh, as a song, I agree. But again, when I think of TV theme songs, here's the story of a man named Brady. You just can't get more iconic than that. You know it immediately. I remember, I think it was only the first season that, it wasn't sung by the Bradys. I think every season after that, the Bradys actually sang it. The first season, they didn't sing it. So, again, just one of those songs. As soon as I hear it, Brady Bunch, love that show, lived on it as a kid. As soon as it comes on, when I flip the channels now, I still have to watch it.
Funny, I think the person that sang or wrote the theme song, I think is the same person that wrote the theme song to Gilligan's Island.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. The ship's aground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle, with Gilligan, the skipper too, a millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professor and Mary Ann, here on Gilligan's Island.
Yes, you know what? You're right. And I didn't remember that until I was doing some research for this. Sherwood Schwartz, right?
Yeah, he's the guy that made all those shows.
Yep. Gilligan's is definitely on my list of honorable mentions too. What a great song. Again, I don't know if these songs were better than the theme songs of today, but God, they were good.
Probably had something to do with what age we were at.
Yeah, of course. Again, absolutely. I think anyone that's at a certain age is so impressionable. For me, I always think, between the ages of 8 and 12, those are really your most impressionable years. You're old enough to understand stuff at 8, and then you're not like, you don't only watch the cool things still at 12. Once you started to get into that teenage years, you only like the things maybe your friends like, or blah blah blah. You don't get swayed one way or another. Between the 8 and 12 years is really where you kind of find the things you really like.
The word you're looking for is puberty.
Yeah, as soon as those damn girls came into the picture, they ruined everything, Ernie. All right, so I think are we going to do our honorable mention now?
Yes, we are.
All right, so can we do 2 honorable mentions this week, just because we got so much to choose from?
I could do more than 2 if you wanted.
Go ahead. You give me one, I'll do one, and then we'll do it again.
All right, the first honorable mention, and the only reason I couldn't put this on the list is because there is only one instrument. It's just a piano. The Incredible Hulk.
Ooh. It's on my. I wasn't going to save that for this, but great. Again, it's one of those things. As soon as you hear it, you know it.
It's beautiful.
I think it's called The Lonely Man. I think that's actually the name of it, right?
Yeah, when I was doing my research, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. So good. All right, so my first honorable mention. Again, I have a whole list here. I don't even know what I'm going to go with, but just because we were talking, this is the only song that I'm going to go with that doesn't have lyrics and a melody. And it's actually not such a great song, but it's one of those songs when I hear it, much like the Rocky theme song, Flying High, I get pumped up when I hear it, and that's the A-Team.
Oh yeah.
Again, it's one of those. It's not that great, and I even listened to it more today. It doesn't stay good the whole way. It's just that one theme that's so good. Like that one melody is perfect, and then it kind of falls off from there. But when I hear that melody, I want to go out and either build a tank or beat somebody up,
or both.
Or both, right? All right, and one more honorable mention, Ern.
Another honorable mention. Let me see which one I'm gonna go with.
So many.
Yeah, that'd be a huge list here. I gotta choose. Here I go. I'm gonna go with Cheers.
Great.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Almost made my list too. It's on my honorable mention. It's where everyone knows your name, Ern.
The other two songs I was about to go with, I'm not sure if many people even know the shows. I'm gonna go with the other two songs. I'm gonna throw them out here because it's our show. You ever watch the show Weeds? I know it's your show.
Yes, I did watch Weeds, but I don't remember the theme song.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same.
Little Boxes on the Hillside?
I don't remember it. I have to go back and listen. That was a good show, but
the amazing thing about this song, and I can't believe it's never been done again, is that every episode it was sung by a different person and a whole different genre. Like it was a reggae and then it was a heavy metal version at one time. Every week they changed it.
I think I must have watched at least 4 or 5 seasons of that, and I cannot think of the theme song. Maybe that's why, because it's lyrically it's the same, but it's a different version every time.
Yep, it's the same exact song. It's a cover every time of the same song.
Amazing. I got to go back and listen. Give me one more.
The unfortunate sequence. Oh, what the hell's the name of that show? An unfortunate. Can't remember the name of the show. An unfortunate sequence of events.
What? I don't know. Is that what the name of it is?
Oh, Lemony Snicket.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, I can't think of it either. I don't know it that well, but
yeah. The amazing thing about that, and Neil Patrick Harris sings it, but every episode, the words are changed, and they explain what happened in the last couple episodes. So instead of previously on, he kept changing the words of the song at the beginning instead, and I thought that was a great idea.
That is a great idea. I like that.
And it's a great song.
My two, I'm going to go with. I have a million to go with here. I'm going to go with two that I remember. I would watch these back to back, and I can't remember the times. Maybe from 5 to 6, always before Three's Company. I'm trying to remember the times. I don't remember exactly, but always in reruns. Of course, these are most of my picks, which was surprising to me, were 70s, not even 80s. Most of my picks were 70s shows and that I caught in reruns in the 80s. I didn't really pick, I didn't really go with the growing pains and the family ties and the cheers that I thought I was going to go with. I went more towards these shows, and the first one of these next two honorable mentions is Facts of Life.
Yep.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life. When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams.
That was
Take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. I mean, it's just so catchy. And then the show that I always connect that show with, Different Strokes.
The world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, he's a man of means. Then along come two, they got nothing but the genes, but they got different strokes it takes, different strokes it takes, different strokes to move the world.
Different strokes it takes. Different strokes it takes. I mean, they're such catchy themes. They're amazing. And I always saw those shows back to back. So I didn't want to say one without the other. So I'm glad we kind of threw in an extra 10 honorable mentions. I can't believe we have not touched on each other's shows yet. This is insane. So before we get to number one, just so you know, I reached out to a couple people today to be guest stars on our episode today. And everyone I talked to ridiculously told me they need more time. They need to do more research. It's such a big subject. They can't decide on top 5 in a few hours. I said, really? You can't figure out your top 5 TV show theme songs in a couple of hours? So the few guests that we had lined up for today couldn't do it because they needed more time for the subject that we were handling today. Do you believe this?
As I said, the show was about to start, and I still was crossing out the Addams family.
Oh yeah, even the Munsters I had for a while. I had, so many. All right.
I had one show that I've never even seen before, and the song is so great. Rawhide.
Oh, I mean, you know what? I never saw that show either, but obviously we know that song.
Yeah.
I think I know it more because of the Blues Brothers, but
yeah, that makes sense.
Rawhide.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, so let's get to our number one favorite TV show theme song.
Greatest American Hero.
I love when I take your picks. And I promise you I don't do it on purpose. This one I had a feeling was going to be there, but I had to do it anyway, Ernie. It's one of my favorite songs ever.
It was my paper, when I write all the songs, it's the first thing I wrote on my paper. It was number one even before I looked at anything else.
I'm sorry, Ern. I'm really not, but I'm not really sorry now. I love disappointing you.
Yeah.
Obviously, great pick. It's on my list. Only two things beat it for me, which was the Brady Bunch and my number one pick. Now, it's one of my favorite shows growing up. Got my kids into it. They love it. It's cheesy. It's ridiculous, but it's, to me, still a lot of fun. And that is, and I have a feeling you forgot about this one, Land of the Lost.
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known. High on the rapids, it struck their tiny raft and plunged them down 1,000 feet below to the land of the lost.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition. It just met the greatest earthquake ever known. It's
still the same time period though.
Yeah, it's all. I looked at all. My newest show is Greatest American Hero at 1981.
My newest was Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, I have Land of the Lost is 74 to 76. Brady Bunch is 69 through 74, which I didn't realize it was that old either. Greatest American Heroes 81, Three's Company 77 to 84. So technically that was on the latest. And then All in the Family 71 through 79. So again, these are all repeat shows. Land of the Lost was more of a Saturday morning, cartoon type of show that it was on. It wasn't a cartoon because you and I distinctly we had to make sure we left off cartoons. So anyone who says, well, you're forgetting this or you're forgetting that, one of our rules today was no cartoons, because we knew there was definitely a couple of cartoons that would have made this list, but we can make our own episode with just cartoon theme songs, which we will do coming up. But we knew we had to just stick with regular TV shows.
You know what? I'm surprised the theme from Friends didn't make your.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of went, even though Greatest American Hero is more of like a pop song, I wanted to stay away from regular songs. Like that's a who did that song? The Rembrandts?
Yeah.
It's a real song. It's a regular song that was taken and used for Friends. Of course, it's synonymous with Friends now, but I wanted to try to stay away from songs that weren't specifically for that television show. Like obviously Land of the Lost is not a pop song. Brady Bunch, Three's Company, All in the Family, those were just songs for those shows. I wanted, there was a couple other ones that I was thinking of. I'm trying to think that had pop songs like that I did. Oh, Freaks and Geeks. I thought maybe you would go with the Joan Jett song.
I was thinking just like you, though, that because the song was a hit before the show even came out, it shouldn't be allowed. Right. But I didn't know the Friends song wasn't written for Friends. I wasn't aware of that.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I think it was. That's why, even if you notice, after a couple of years, the Rembrandts version is not the version they use anymore. It's like a cover version they use. So I think I think it came out before. You know what? I'm not even positive, but I think it came out on their album before that, and just Friends used it as their theme song. I mean, obviously, good for them. I'm sure they sold millions of copies of that record because of that, right?
Oh, they're still getting paid.
Right, exactly. But no, I think this was a super, super fun list. Again, I love even just thinking about all of these old TV shows. Like immediately, I watched 2 episodes of The A-Team today just because I heard the A-Team theme song. I couldn't stop watching. I had to keep watching it on YouTube. So stuff like that is the reason why we do this.
How about Spider-Man?
Now, which one?
Well, cartoons weren't allowed, so we got to go with the TV show.
But was the TV show theme song, was that Spider-Man, Spider-Man? Was that the TV show or the old 60s cartoon? Or both?
I'll have to look it up, but I remember it being the show.
You know what? I'm not sure. Even like the 60s Batman almost made it. There's a story my mom used to always tell me. I used to sit in front of the television, and for some reason, when the Batman theme song would come on, I would do this. And I would always do this. I don't know if I thought I was a bat or what I was doing. When I was a kid, anytime the Batman theme song came on, I would pop myself in front of the TV and go. So that almost made it just because of that memory. I mean, I had a couple others ones, the Jeffersons, Laverne and Shirley, even something like Happy Days didn't make my list because that's a real song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else? Did you have any other ones that didn't make it?
Oh, sure. What do I got?
I had the Love Boat. The Love Boat. The Love Boat. Soon we'll be making another run. I mean,
I'm trying to look at things that were crossed out. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel-Air.
That was close. I don't see anything else written here. Twilight Zone.
even that iconic. You know, there's so many songs that didn't have lyrics, just like melodies, that I almost went with stuff like the Munsters, stuff like Twilight Zone, even the Honeymooners one I love. But I wanted to do real songs, singable songs.
Yeah, which has made me feel weird about stealing the Incredible Hulk thing, but it's so beautiful to me. It makes me cry.
And it's iconic too. You, as soon as you hear that, you know what it is. This is a fun one, Ern. Those morons that didn't want to come on today with us because they needed more time to prepare, you missed out on a good one. This was a fun episode. I love reminiscing like this. I want to hear other people's that we forgot. I know there's got to be so many that we forgot that we didn't even think of, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be annoying when we realize all that.
Oh my God! Even at, like I said, I wrote my top 5 as soon as we came up with this idea, and then as I'm listening to other theme songs, I'm like, oh, forget it. That can't be there. I have to put this up, and I have to put that up. So it brings you down a rabbit hole that you have to keep exploring. It's crazy. All right, Ern, good stuff. As always, please send your questions, your comments to top5withjoeycassata@gmail.com. We love to hear some questions. We love to hear your lists. Everywhere we post this on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that we post our show, please check us out and post your top 5 of whatever subject we're doing. Of course, this week is TV show theme songs. And always remember, too, you can watch us on YouTube, but you can also download us wherever podcasts are available. The YouTube version is fun because a lot of this stuff is video. A lot of it is we get to see Ernie's gorgeous face. And, on the podcast version, of course, you only get to hear the audio, but it's still a lot of fun. So you can download us on the go anywhere podcasts are available. And you can always watch us on YouTube. We go live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. And the podcast version is usually available the day before on Monday. But Ern, that's about it. Any other comments for today's topic?
I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
This was a good one. All right, everybody, we will see you next time on Top 5.